the T code to create an equipment? Anyone can guess? No one want to try? Okay, it's IE01, starting with I, E for equipment, and 01 is to create. Okay. Now just double click. This is our notification screen. So I'll just use this so that it becomes clear. So we are in IW21 screen, which is to create a PM notification. So first thing is notification type. So based on our process, this is configuration. We can create multiple notification types based on how we want to use it. This is again business specific, client specific. So for our client here, we have created notification type M1, M2, M3. So we'll explain you what this notification does. So I'll select the notification type as M1. Now, based on that notification type, we have the configuration where these tabs, which you see, are visible here. So if we want to include more tabs here, standard tabs, so we can go and add tabs in notification type. So based on this notification type, we can, configure the screens, what is visible to the end user. Okay. So you can see there are certain fields which are mandatory and certain which are just optional. So this is again not standard. This is again configuration. You can choose to make any field mandatory or optional or hidden based on your requirement, the client's requirement. So notification, you see there is a notification number which is already generated, and this is our notification type. We can just give the notification description here. Okay. Now this is the notification status here, OSNO, which is outstanding notification. So if I show you. Now here we have function location as a mandatory field. So I'll just add one. Priority. So this OSNO is status outstanding notification. So once we release this or approve this notification, the status will change automatically. Now here you can see there is also a feature where we can create our user status. It's not system defined. So each client can have their own defined set of statuses. So here we have some certain status which we created. So these are not standard statuses, but can be configured based on business requirement. But this system status are all standard. So on the top, you can see both the status is visible. OSNO, which is our system status, and new, which is our user status. Now, once this order notification will be converted to order, there will be an order number visible here later on. Yeah. Now, if you remember coding yesterday, Avdut showed you related to catalogs. But this coding, this is notification coding, but I'll explain. So this is another T code QS41, which is used to create catalogs. So in plant maintenance, basically we'll use task, which is type 2. We'll use 8 activities. P is object part, which part is damaged. And this is our causes, 5, cause of damage and damages, overview of damage. So it is BC5 which is your object part, damage and cause. And you can also have task and activities. So task is like what task you will be performing, and activities is what activities you have performed. So it's just a slight difference here. Task is like the activities which we need to perform, and activities are what we have already performed. So similarly, we also have a coding here. You can see decoding. So that coding is what was visible on the notification screen for D, catalog type D. So this is right now catalog type D. So we can, these are again, client specific. So this specifies the kind of work we are doing and the kind of defect happened. So based on that, we can define our own set of codings here. So I say it's failed, property damage or technical issue, something like that. It's just a description of the work in hand. And why do we use coding? Basically, thing is like, let's say if I want to see a report in the end of a year that how many technical issues I faced. So it would be very difficult to understand based on the description or non-standard ways, because each people will have their own way of describing the notification. There will be, uh, I mean, uh, no particular standard way of getting those reports. That's why we use coding, where if we define each notification based on the type of work, and there is a code available for that, it becomes easier for us end of the year to get meaningful reports out of it. So we can distribute, we can also do it based on our notification type, but it's just a second level of drill down. So in an M1 notification, I had following type of work. So how many work was performed in a year? We can get reports with this coding thing. All right. This, yeah,
Udipta here. So
yeah.
in catalog and coding, I understand that that is root cause of this analyze the object parts, right? Whatever this
Mhm.
damage. But after this end of the year, we have to run this report,
Yes,
right?
yes. So that object part and all will come under breakdown. That's why
Mhm,
I actually try to show you the screen that this is different. This coding is different. But other
mhm,
than that, we have task, activities, causes, defects, and object part, B, C. So these are what will be used in breakdown, tab. But this coding is just we are giving a code to a notification, type of work what we are doing. It is nothing related to which object part was damaged, what was the cause. We are not coming to that right now. It is just a coding which is description of type of issue.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
we'll come to these part now quickly. So right now we just did coding, so I can show you this. So under this catalog type D, we had created these code groups, and under these code groups we have the codes. So if I show you failed, which we choose in our notification, you can see there are codes: property damage, technical issue, process. The same
Mhm.
thing is being populated in the notification screen. Yeah. Okay. Now the next thing is this part, which is our long text. So we can use this button to create the long text, or we can directly enter it here. So we can write our random text here, which will be important again for the technician to understand. Or we can specify the fault location more precisely here. So it's just a long text where if this particular information is not sufficient, this has a limitation of 40 characters, right? The long description. So in case I want to describe the issue in more elaborated manner, we can use the long text tab. This is endless. So next thing is our reference object where we have to specify which equipment or function location has damage. So this is the technical object. So we can select the equipment here. We're searching for equipment in plant 1CDH. So as this runs, I will parallelly try to show you certain structures which Avdut was talking about yesterday. So this is one of our function location 1CDH, and this is first level. So if you remember, we had multiple levels allowed here, right? Maximum up to 6. So if I execute this is again taking time. Hmm. So you see, this is my first level, 1CDH. My second level is 1CDH 10, 20, 30, 40, like that, which is again my second level. So under plant, we have area. When we have under each area, we have the system. So it's a communication, dry good, employee. So these are all client specific, the way they want to create, but this is how the hierarchy is represented in SAP. So 1, 2, 3, fourth level, fifth level, sixth level, and under the sixth level we'll have the actual equipment. So you can see the color difference here. So this is dark green, this is light green. Light green will be your equipment. So if you want to create a notification for this equipment, you can directly create it from here. Create notification. But since we use a T code, we'll try to use this equipment in the notification section. So you'll also see this particular equipment was installed in a different function location, right? This is just a first level of function location which I manually put, but it will automatically update it to the actual location where the equipment was installed. Now you see here the function location is automatically updated. Here you have the description of the function location. So the person will know that this equipment lies where. So he can track one by one. He can go to plant, then second, third, fourth level, fifth level, like that. And then he can able to track his equipment exactly. So the fault location is easily identifiable because of this hierarchical structure what we have in the function location. So the technical object is fine. Now we have entered in the production worker has created a notification. He has entered the technical object which has a issue. He has given the long text, type of work, everything. Now, next thing he can mention is the required start date. I mean, the start date of the work order, start date of the work execution to correct it. And there can be a target date to finish it as well, which is hidden here in our client. But normally you have requirement end date as well. So the person who is raising, he will know the criticality of this equipment. So he want it repaired in next 2 days, 3 days, like that. So that can also be mentioned here. Next is the priority field where he can mention the priority of the work, which need to be like how critical is this equipment. Then this checkbox is very important. This is the checkbox which tells you if it's a breakdown or a normal maintenance. So if you don't do this, it goes as a normal maintenance, and there is a I mean there is an impact which I'll come to that in the like when I talk about breakdown. So I'll just mark it for now. Now these planner group, work center. What is work center? Can anybody tell me?
Uh, Work center is a group where the resources are available. So work
Absolutely.
resource.
Perfect. So it's a group of people. So we have different type of work centers. So it is again how we want to represent our organization. So in our client, we have done like all the mechanical people. We are uh, combining them and making it them into one work center. And this is Mech 1 means skill set of 1. So similarly, if we have Mech 2, we'll know that the worker has a slightly less expertise in mechanical work. So that's our way of identifying here. But this is something which is, I mean, client specific and reported by someone like, let's say if I have access to SAP, but it is reported by you. So I can mention reported by. This is my ID here, but it need not be like the person who is creating the notification and reported by is same. So I can create a notification on behalf of someone else, right? And below fields are not important. These are custom fields, not standard. Now, what is the impact of breakdown? So there are two critical information which you need to understand as there is two concept which is MTTR and MTBF. I'll just type it. Now I'm talking about MTTR and MTBF. So I'll just give you the full form here. It's mean time to repair and mean time between failure. Now, MTTR is your mean time to repair. I mean, how much time you take to repair this particular equipment each time it gets faulty. So let's say for the first time when the notification was raised, I took 2 hours. Second time, I took 3 hours. So my mean time is I take approximately 2.5 hours whenever this equipment gets faulty, breakdown. So this again, like it is total time divided by the frequency. Yes. And then the important factor is mean time between failure, which means that how frequently the breakdown is happening. So let's say my first breakdown happened on 1st of January 2020. Second happened in 1st of June 2020 again. So this means that I have a mean time of 6 months. Now let's say I have again had a breakdown after 3 months. So in 9 months, I have two breakdowns. So I have a mean time between failure as 4.5 months. So this keeps on updating. And this value, mean time to repair and mean time between failure is very critical for decision making because you will know do let's say if the frequency is very high, my equipment is getting faulty every 2 days and it is hampering my production line. So I can decide that I don't want to repair it, right? I have to replace it with a new one. Otherwise, I'm getting more loss because of failure, right? If my production is stopped and I cannot run my business. So these are very, very important terms which will be, I mean, this is the important factor for which we have the plant maintenance full module. So decision making. So we have all the required data, historical data, but we should also have certain information, and that information should help me to take certain decision. So these are very critical things to understand. Now, where we do enter this? So here we are coming back to SAP. Now, malfunction start time. This is again my start time of breakdown and with date and time. Now, if I come to breakdown, here you say malfunction start and malfunction end. So here, when once my execution is done, order processing is done, my labors have corrected it, we will mention the end time. So system will know what was the time taken to repair it, and it will calculate the breakdown duration as well. And if for the same equipment, if the breakdown happens again after 2 months, 3 months, so that 2, 3 months is again with the system, right? So they can calculate MTTR and MTBF. So I hope this is clear till now. Anyone, any doubt? I'm going a bit detailed because these are very key, and it's the base of plant maintenance. Okay. I can continue. No questions.
Breakdown duration, it's come normal config or need to create puppy body?
This one,
This one, yes.
no, let's say if I enter, let's say my breakdown happened yesterday
Mhm.
and I corrected it today. And let's say at 2 in the morning, so it automatically calculates the breakdown duration. And this is standard. I mean, not a, yeah, it's not a custom field.
Mhm.
So based
So the unit of measure for breakdown duration will always be hours, or can we change it to days? Or I mean,
we can
we
change
have options, right?
our,
Okay.
all the time related unit we can give here.
Okay.
So the coding on the notification coding, so that is also master data of this PM or
Yes. This one?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, this is again something which can be used cross module,
Okay.
but this is how it is most relevant in plant maintenance and quality and production also.
Okay.
Okay, next we come to failure reporting. Now, this is again very important. So, as Abdul said yesterday, right? Catalog profile and all. So this is a part of that. And now, why this information is important? Because we should know what is the object part which is getting damaged frequently, what is the damage type, and what is the cause of damage. So let's say if certain part of my equipment is getting damaged every 2 days, and the cause is like 90% of the time it is because of a lot of moisture or the condition of the environment like that. So if we aim to focus on improving the environmental condition, that can make the health of my asset better, right? So again, this is very important piece of information what people keep on adding here on the notification level, because here we get the information end of the year. The one data will not be as significant, but let's assume that we have created thousands of order in a year, and then now end of the year we know that there are 1,000 notifications 990 times it happened because of this particular reason. So next year, to avoid any failure, I can focus on that cause. I can improve the cause so that the damage frequency decreases. Right? So these catalogs are again very important for that purpose. And if I go to the equipment master data, you see there is a catalog profile which is assigned to each equipment. It can be assigned to each equipment. Now, for a transformer, the type of damage and object part will be different, right? And for a different instrument, uh, like circuit breaker, anything, the parts and causes and damage will be different. So we club together all those and creates a catalog profile. And so when this equipment is used in the notification, so it only shows a relevant object part rather than showing all the list. So we have like 10,000 object parts for different type of equipment, but it should show me only those object parts which are for communication, radio two-way, right? For this equipment. So that is again SAP inbuilt feature where if we have catalog profile assigned to the equipment master, then it will only show you profile related object part and relevant damages and causes. So let's say I have this particular part which is damaged. I can say what is the damage which happened. So for this particular part, we have failure modes. And what is the cause of this damage? FM reason. These are all, I mean, codes are client specific, but this is a huge use data, so it makes sense to create certain logic before creating this data. And this is a very critical data again. And let's say if somebody, some team or some client does not have this, I mean, in the list, we don't see any damage code. So we also have a place where we can say our own damage text. Later on, this can be converted to a code. So this is a situation where we don't have a damage code, or we want to describe the damage in more elaborate manner. So we can use this text box. Same for causes. So once you enter this, if I click on items, so you see this is your list here. So you can, so in failure reporting, you see you have option to only enter one object part, one damage, one cause, right? So in case you want to create more, you can create here more items, but you can directly same thing. So this is the same screen, failure reporting. Okay, and our client we don't have activities and tasks, but in standard SAP again for other client you will see few tabs like activities and tasks where we also have codes for the task which need to be performed for this kind of damage and the activities which we completed later on that can also be added on the notification level. But it's not available here, but I mean you have option to make code of your task and activities and can be added here on the task. And the last thing is DMS link, where we can assign any DMS document, engineering drawing or anything. So somebody who's a production worker, he can take the picture of your equipment, the damage, and try to assign it to the notification. So he can use this feature where he can assign physical documents on the notification level. So this is how our notification works. So basically the idea is to have as much information which will be useful for the maintenance team later on to execute the work. Right? And this failure reporting is again something which can be modified. So let's say I'm a production worker, I mentioned these things, but in reality there was a different object part which was damaged, and the damage cause and reason can be different. So I can update it later on as a maintenance team when I close this order and notification. I'll try to update these things as well. Okay, so till now it's absolutely clear for everyone.
Yeah. So the damage, that is a kind of a class and characteristic, or
No, it's a code.
okay.
It's just a simple code, and the main reason is, see, try and understand that when I'm working from India, I see a equipment, I make a damage, and I write it in my language. So somebody in Bangalore writes in Kannada, somebody in Tamil Nadu writes in Tamil. So it makes a random data, right? And this data will be not structured. Let's say we have the same damage, but we are explaining it in different languages, right?
Oh, okay.
So just to have on a standard ground where all of us have to enter the same data, this code will be required. So we are trying to make everything into codification.